broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, Sleepyheads! Welcome back to the Sleepy Hollow After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. Yeah, turn that up. Frankenstein! He's a Kindred. He's not a Frankenstein. Okay,
Yeah,
he's a Franklinstein. It's season 2, episode 2. The Kindred.
A fan did say we should punch
No,
him.
they said Frankenstein on the show.
On the show, but it
qualifies.
Whatever. We'll give it. So right now, because of that, we're sitting at $6.50 after one episode, a Stephenless episode at that. So it's me, Matt Lieberman. Stephen Lemieux is back. Zach Wilson is back. Hey guys. Jacque Borowski is back.
We're not worthy.
Yeah. Oh man, Wayne's World. Wayne's World. All right. So let's cut the music because we got a show to talk about.
Frankenstein.
All right, so another great episode of Sleepy Hollow. God, I love this show. It's so much fun to watch. And we got a little Frankenstein's monster. We got to finally figure out what was up with our Frank Irving. Jenny gets arrested. We've got a new sheriff that we instantly do not like, but that's the kind of the point. Yeah, let's get into it. What'd you guys think of the episode?
I mean, since I wasn't here last week, I just have to say I watched these both episodes back to back today. Mm-hmm. Benjamin Franklin's a freaking prick.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't like you. He reminds me of the dude who shows up to the party, takes a keg of beer, and then takes like the case of beer and leaves.
He was so much better in 1776.
He's just a big weirdo.
Where's that Ben Franklin?
I like him. He's funny.
Yeah,
he's just so ridiculous.
Big funny weirdo. Timothy Busfeld.
He walks in, he sees the like group of female witches. He's like,
Yeah.
What's up, girl?
Hey, Katrina, you want to make that Corb Trina a Benjamin Frank Trina?
That's not
even. That doesn't get anything.
No, it doesn't even get points. You get no points, and God have mercy on your soul. Yeah.
I even have a studio audience.
Yeah.
Hating me.
So we open this episode with another fake out. This time, a dream on the part of ICHABOD CRANE. But even like it's a prophetic dream, which maybe we should think about.
This was another mean fake out for me because Sleepy Hollow is just personally trolling me, I feel, at this point.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to kill Katrina. And I'm like, yes. Yeah. No.
Jackie's like, I can be the only woman.
What?
That's
No.
not.
Abby.
Yes,
It could be
that's
Krabby, if you will.
Krabby, remember? Oh,
That was what we used to call it.
we used to call it Krabby.
Yeah. Yeah, we have this awful ceremony, and Katrina is strung up like the girl in King Kong, and Darrow, and he slices open her hand, and the hand of the horseman is like, to unite you permanently, we must mix your blood and sanctify you. And I'm like, ew, that's dead person magic blood, and it's
not
going
sanitary.
in her vein. Exactly. And then he goes to cut off her head, and like, oh, okay, it's a dream.
Yeah, it's all a
Fine.
dream. But like, you never
It
know
was
with this
all a
show
dream.
because honestly, it's like, okay, it was a dream, but was he like dreaming of an image of something that happened, or was it like a dream that was just a normal dream, or was it a dream
it was
he was
a
actually?
prophetic dream.
Yeah, it was prophetic because he was envisioning what would eventually be happening
Yeah.
if they didn't try to intervene.
A ceremony that did actually exist,
Yeah.
and that they were actually going to perform.
Okay.
Which he was reading about, so it could be prophecy, could be just like I was reading about this before
he
passed
read
out.
about it after his dream.
No, I thought he just
No, he showed her after.
Oh,
his
okay.
dream.
All right, well, fair enough. He wakes up, and Abby's like, stop dreaming. We got to go meet the new sheriff in town. And she's...
Sheriff Dolores Umbridge.
No, she's not Dolores Umbridge. She's not that bad. Like, okay, can I just be devil's advocate because I'm the only one who's going to be and talk about what it's like from her perspective?
No.
Okay, her hometown has been just plagued with deaths and all kinds of stuff. in her absence, and she comes into this sheriff's department. Stop it. Stephen is being just a jackass next to me. She comes into the sheriff's department where the sheriff is found guilty of a double homicide, who confesses to a double homicide, including one of his cops. So of course she's going to be super hard-nosed, trying to get everything back in line. She doesn't understand everything that's been going on here. She's not going to give Abby and Ichabod the same amount of leeway that Frank Irving gave them at the top of the first season, where he was just like, look, just take care of this thing. This is working. I don't want to know about it, but just do it. She's not going to be that person.
Well, in her defense, I will say she actually hasn't seen something headless with a machine gun shooting at her yet.
Right.
I mean, there is it's kind of the same reaction that Irving had when he was first on the force. Aside from that, though, at least Irving was fun. She's just a total Dolores Umbridge. But I still think that they're making her out to be super bad in the way that they're going to turn it around later, where it turns out that she's actually for the good team. Because I feel like it's too obvious to make her this cranky pants without her revealing some sort of good background secret about her mom.
I like having this force of opposition, though.
Yeah,
it's sort of what I was missing when Irving came over and was totally on board.
See, I liked it when we had everyone on the same team.
But it's too easy at that point. You need someone challenging them.
I agree with you in that when I was watching the episode, I was like, God, this bitch. But
Don't say bitch. Don't say. It's so reductive.
Okay, what was Dolores? What was the name?
Dolores Umbridge.
Okay, damn this
From Harry
Umbridge.
Potter.
Yeah, I hate this Umbridge. But then I looked at it from the point of you're right. They're basically running the whole town. They don't have to worry about any outside influence. They can just chase them and everything.
They can just get guns and walk them through the catacombs.
So it was becoming a little bit unrealistic in that respect. So bringing somebody to bring them back down, even though I hate her so much, it makes sense to me.
It's a character you like to hate.
See, I feel
no,
like she's
not even that. She makes me want to poop my pants.
I feel like she's got to have an agenda, okay? She says she's read files on everybody. She comes in armed with opinions about everyone.
Oh, opinions!
Yeah, but she also stumbles. Oh, she's the first person from the sheriff's department ever to walk into those archives. Okay,
that is true, because didn't they have to bomb a wall to get to those archives?
Yeah.
I'm nobody even realized these archives were there. They had to dig out walls and go through the catacombs, and yet she walks through the catacombs, the bat-filled catacombs, to go and check on the archives.
No, she doesn't come through the catacombs. She comes through the hallway. But it's no one goes there. So why is she there at the perfect time to catch Jenny with a bag full of guns?
The only reason that they went through the catacombs to go to get to the archive was because it was locked and they didn't want to go through the normal means.
Right.
So she probably just had a key that unlocked the door.
Yeah, but why was she going there in the first place? Oh, I better check out every room that I'm going to be the sheriff of. Okay, this is the room with all the old books about ancient America that for whatever reason the police have.
If you think of this as a moving town though, as if people are actually living in this town, everyone on the force is probably talking about the weird people coming and going out of the archives all the time. And if she's the new person, she'd be like, well, I want to know what the hell this is if I'm going to be in charge of it.
She is actively investigating why Ichabod is there, because why are we
why do we have a history consultant?
An Oxford history.
She needs to make her history before Frank Underwood takes that away from her.
Can I punjar that?
I don't know.
I'm gonna do it. $7.
It makes sense, though, that if he is the history consultant, that it makes sense that he would be in that room. And if Abby is in charge of him, it makes sense that they would be going in and out of that room. The only person that maybe they've seen go in and out of there that doesn't make sense is Jenny. Because the only two people going in there are the two people who are already authorized to look at the archives.
She came in through... I feel like she only enters and leaves through the catacombs. She doesn't go through the police station because there's no reason for her to be there. When she comes in with the bag of guns, she comes in through the catacombs.
It's true.
And it's just perfect timing. That doesn't ring false to anybody. She knows about Abby's mother. I feel like either she is a misguided good person or she's got some kind of dark agenda and she's related to the parents, which I'm really glad that they brought that thread back because I'd completely forgotten. That's right. Abby's mom went crazy. And I forget what happened to her father, but in any case, they both probably have ties to the supernatural, and we maybe get into that this season.
I feel like she's secretly good, and she knows something about the mom that she can reveal, and I feel like they're bringing her in to fake us out.
Interesting.
Even though I don't like her.
Okay.
It's also weird to me that if they hired this history consultant from Oxford, the first thing you do to him is to basically be a jerk and question his job to his face instead of just going on your own and doing it. I know they had to do it as like a plot device, but it's just like it rang false to me as a person who comes in and sees the department basically going up to somebody who has credentials and being like, well, why are you here? You know, I was like, that's so weird if you just took it as this person is here doing a job and they have credentials and then she just questions
Jackie,
them to her face.
Hashtag writing. Now let's continue on because we've been on this for way too long now.
Well, it's a thread that runs through the whole episode. It's worth talking about. So, in any case, they come up with this idea, you know, like Ichabod is determined to get Katrina freed. She is in the clutches of the horsemen. This cannot be. She cannot lose her head. We must save her before this happens.
I'm with Jenny, who was basically like, the last time we tried this, it sucked, so
why are we doing it again?
why are we doing it again?
Yeah. And he's like, because I want to save her, because she's my wife, and I'm committed. And Jackie just rolls her eyes. Not a fan.
We saw that from in here.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go in a rant? Because I will.
I love it.
Can
when
we
you
get some
do.
backup music for Jackie's rant real quick?
Bah, bah, bah.
Like a sad...
Something stirring.
Google, like, YouTube sad violin and play the one that shows, like...
violin.
It shows, like, a
Sad
picture of a
panda
planet.
violin.
Yeah, that's my favorite one to play on
Okay.
rants.
Go ahead.
So one of the fans called her Princess Peach, and I agree with that. It's like she is
But she's
basically...
got Princess Daisy hair, really. If we're
She's
quibbling.
basically only in a position to be saved, and again, she's supposed to be this like clever witch. Even if your witch powers are diminished, it just cracks me up how you have these two guys who are supposedly masterminds, Abraham von Brunt and Henry Parrish, and they're discussing their plans, and instead of tying her up with the twine that apparently could keep her there, they decide to like let her wander the place, and then she walks over and she's like doopy doopy doo and listens to them, and I'm sorry, but you guys got to be smarter than that. Plus, she does point out to Abraham that she's like, oh, I could just get out of those ties. Why didn't you do that earlier?
Okay, that's a good point.
I will say, why are they discussing these like big plans in front of someone who is obviously their enemy?
Right?
And then she's like, oh, if I stay here, they'll keep talking about their nefarious plans in front of me.
Worst mole ever.
Why?
They don't trust you. They don't trust you.
They are planting this information so that she'll believe that she's getting good information, so that she will ultimately feed false information back to Ichabod and Abby.
I mean, do you think that, or do you think that they're just really not thinking it through?
Or maybe they just don't consider her a threat.
Because, like, literally they're on the verge of chopping her
Jackie
head
doesn't
off.
consider her
Maybe
a
they
threat.
respect her as much as Jackie
Yeah,
does.
I think they respect her as much as I do.
Yeah, you know, and also, like, Henry's like, well, you know, there's nothing I can do. This guy, she's basically his payment. There's nothing I can do. She has to be here. I still have to do my business. I mean, she's never going to get away. Screw it. It's whatever.
I don't even feel like getting
She
since
won't
today.
even leave, even if she can leave.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get into that in a second. But basically,
I was also upset with our heroes in this because they're like, she reveals this big plan that they're trying to bring Moloch back. It's like, no, duh.
Yeah, it's not even a plan.
That's not even. That's been there. That's been since the previous episode. We know that that's their plan. They've been trying.
No, Jackie. The plan is to try again.
Yeah,
That's
it's not.
the huge development.
I was
It's
like,
like-
this
it's
is like
like-
Scooby-Doo logic.
No, it's like Taken and Taken 2. They take somebody from his family, but then it's different because they take somebody from his family. they're gonna try again.
I'm like, so we're enlisting Katrina to basically tell them stuff that they pretty much already know.
Well, no, she's gonna get good stuff. She's gonna get good bits, good
At
nuggets.
best, she's gonna get trap information.
All right,
Yeah,
fine.
there you go.
Well, let's talk about the Kindred for a second, okay? They're like, well, how are we going to get her free? She's held with the Horsemen. Well, Ben Franklin was working on this thing called the Kindred.
Conveniently.
And it is basically, it's a Frankenstein, but they never got it to work because they didn't have a piece of the Horseman's body, which our heroes totally do. So they march on down to Frank in jail, and he has been beat up because apparently cons don't like cops.
So we have Frankenstein and Frank in jail.
Punjar.
That goes in the front car.
Yeah, so that's what?
750.
750. And it's great to see Orlando Jones back on the show. This episode, like the scene with the lie detector, especially reminded me like, oh man, this guy's like a great dramatic actor, and he's just awesome on the show. He's a great like sobering presence. That I really, really enjoy. And I loved seeing these two connect. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, tell him everything that's been going on. I know he's in prison. You don't want to worry him. But tell him, oh, yeah, there's this guy. You remember we had a Sin Eater that you never met last season? Henry Parrish. He kind of looks like this. And he is Ichabod's son. And he is the Horseman of War. Watch out for anyone bearing that description.
Who are you saying
Yes,
should have
well, no.
told him this?
Abby.
Abby, okay.
At the prison.
Well, because you skipped to the lie detector for a second, so I don't know if we were talking about...
One of our fans called that out, that Henry and Frank would meet up, and Frank wouldn't know, like, obviously wouldn't know who Henry was. I just want to give a shout out to Dionysus1 for
What
calling
up,
that out.
Dionysus1?
And Abby couldn't say that to him because unlike Headless and Henry, she doesn't just blurt out plans when there are other people sitting in the room.
But that's not plans. That's just common knowledge, okay?
Hey, there's another dude you gotta look out for.
Yeah.
He looks pretty human. He's got a head and all this stuff.
He wears glasses.
Hey, Frank,
he was great on
They're
Fringe.
trying to bring Moloch back again, Frank.
What? That's a crazy plan. I never would have
Insane.
imagined.
I never would have guessed that.
Guys, but you don't even know because we're only 2 episodes in. In episode 8, we're going to get their master plan, which is that they're going to try to bring Moloch back.
What? No, I never could have seen that coming.
This is like Sailor Moon's plot, which is always they need energy. That's the entire plot of Sailor Moon.
But I want to preface this that like we do love the show.
We
do.
love
Like,
Of course
this
we
show.
love the
And
show.
I know we make fun of that, but like there are so many plots from like just looking back to the first season. I'm like super excited for every episode this season, seeing all the new creatures that they're going to create and bring into this universe. That and we got Frankenstein on the loose now. We don't know where he is.
We don't know where he is at the end of
and
this
we're just going to
episode.
have Headless chasing him down for the ends of the earth.
All right. So Frank lets Abby know that the head. They're talking about the head in public, and she can't talk about Henry Parrish. Anyway,
That's a good point.
He tells her that he put it in Sleepy Hollow Savings and Loan. She's like, "You put it in a bank?" He's like, "I put it in a vault, surrounded by all this blah blah blah, and 24-hour security." And they both kind of like giggle to each other, and I'm like, "Oh, these two." And
I really love that. That was a B word moment for me. The Buffy word.
Oh yeah, the
It
word
was
we
one
don't
of-
say.
Yeah, the word we don't say that I just said. It was one of those quirky little moments that you're like, this is why I love this show, because they can put severed heads in a safety deposit box, and it makes total sense.
Total sense.
Got 24-hour security, armed guards.
Perfect.
In bulletproof, like bomb-proof.
Yeah.
2 feet of concrete.
And she encourages him to plea and to tell the truth, so he'll get insanity and he'll get moved to Tarrytown. Because as we've learned, it's pretty easy to sneak out of Tarrytown.
Apparently, right?
Yeah. All right. Before we move on and talk about banks and all kinds of fun stuff.
Not bank holiday.
No, this is not the strain. I want to talk about iTunes. People, I say it every week because it's the truth. You go to iTunes, you rate and review the shows that you listen to or that you watch on YouTube, because it's the best way to support us here at AfterBuzz TV. We put out over 80 hours of free after-show content every single week. It's a huge endeavor. There's a lot of moving parts, and supporting us helps us keep that going. We have the widest selection of TV after-show entertainment anywhere on the web, and we are very, very proud of that fact. And and don't make fun of me while I'm
not.
trying.
I'm hyping you. I'm your hype man.
You're my hype man? All right,
God.
fine. So it doesn't cost you a dime. It only takes a second.
Only a second. I'm trying to hype you, Matt. Come on.
I'm my own hype man.
We were being all sad that you weren't here last week, and now we're regretting being
Now you're just a Dickens. But in any case, it helps us out, and you get a shout out here on the show. I'm gonna read some now. 5 stars, the best Sleepy Hollow podcast around from Brittany Williams. Had to write a second review because I'm so freaking excited to fangirl with these guys in season 2. Pure gold, ladies and gents. Pure gold. Another great podcast. 5 stars from Sunnydale99. What up, Sunnydale?
Yeah, nice name.
Yeah. Thoughts on Sleepy Hollow? Sleepy Hollow may be the show that fills the void that the B word show, Buffy, left behind. The show is awesome. Thoughts on podcast, just as entertaining as the show. Really enjoy these hosts. They have great chemistry, and they are really funny. I 100% agree with what Jackie says about certain characters. Katrina, shake my head. Thanks a lot.
That's what SMH stands for.
Yes, that's what it means. SMDH is shake my damn head. Props all around. 5 stars from Shelter at Heart. Such a perfect podcast for a great show. All of the hosts play off of one another so well. It makes listening a great experience. Fingers crossed for more Purgatory Prom. May have to make a return. Yay, we're back. 5 stars from Ronnie J.
TLDR.
Yeah, it's a long one, so I'm just going to read the top part because we should. The Sleepy premiere was amazing, and so was the after show as expected. I missed Stephen. He's been punjarring it up on punjarless shows, but doesn't show up here. What up with that? But yay, Zach is here.
Yay.
For the first few shows, every time he speaks, I'm going to expect tangents that start with mispronounced German words, and then that will make me daydream about a grim Sleepy Hollow crossover. You can always dream.
Oh, yeah.
5-star podcast from Eric464. Yes, 4 incredible hosts together again for another season of one of the best shows on television. Sleepy Hollow is creepy, funny, and exciting all at the same time. AfterBuzz podcast just as entertaining. Love the discussions and puns. Fingers crossed for another round of freestyle rapping. Yeah. Entertaining. 5 stars from T Dreamer. I'm so glad you guys are back for the second season of Sleepy Hollow. You guys provide insightful critique and are entertaining while doing so. Still 5 stars. Best AfterBuzz panel. Watched this podcast last season. Matt, Jackie, and Stephen helped me to love this show called Sleepy Hollow. Best panel on AfterBuzz TV. And now we get Zach too. Great explanation of Abby's mumbling and digging, Zach.
Even without that nut, Steven.
Yeah. The hosts are amazing. JD writes 101, 5 stars. The hosts are fantastic. Have an amazing back and forth with each other. Plus, the theories and the views they offer are great. I'll definitely be tuning in all season long. Keep up the good work. I feel like we got a lot of return customers with these reviews.
We love it.
Poor Shala, just like Lays, you can't listen to just one. 5 stars. Found this podcast while listening to the AB Doctor Who podcast and just started Sleepy Hollow Season 2, Episode 1. So I decided to listen to this podcast to catch myself up with the last season so I wouldn't be as lost as hell. Long story short, I listen to every episode in the span of 2 days. I feel well educated on the show. I'm entertained as hell. Love the puns. And the hosts have a hilarious dynamic. Give it a listen and I'm sure you'll love it. It could be 5 ever.
Oh,
whoa.
Guys, that's one more than 4 ever.
I like that.
Love this show. 5 stars. Bad Wolf Bay 10. So happy Sleepy Hollow's back and so is the after show. Love the hosts and of course the pun jar. Like hanging out with friends. 5 stars. CAC 456. This is the best Sleepy Hollow podcast out there. The hosts are down to earth and funny, but they also provide interesting views on the story. This podcast makes my day. P.S. Jacque Borowski is awesome. Yeah. And I love Sleepy Hollow and these recaps. 5 stars from Keandrick. Love this show. Love the funny. Love the casting. Love the characters. The creepy gets a bit too much for me sometimes, but I can take it because of the other stuff. Love these recaps too. Love the panel. They're fun together. Look forward to the second season premiere along with the recaps.
That was a long iTunes.
That was awesome, guys.
Yeah. But just because it seems like we have a lot doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep them coming. Because right now we're sitting on 128 ratings.
We need
here
11
on the show.
more reviews to get 100 customer reviews.
100 reviews, but I'm saying we can get all the way to 200 ratings this season. I think that is a very reasonable goal.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that we have the ability to do it. So go ahead, go to iTunes, make that happen. Thank you.
And if we get to 100 customer reviews,
100,
I will drink an entire 2-liter on camera.
Okay.
What?
All right.
Of what? Do we get to choose?
I'd prefer you didn't.
All right, so
fans.
we get some.
The fans get to choose.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, you already said it's too
I'll
late.
make it Ziz.
No one gets that. They don't watch. It's Helix after show. We cross-reference our after shows way too much.
But isn't, like, I thought Ziz is actually like a real thing. Isn't that? It's
like
just
chocolate. And stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it. Okay, so we get some classic Ichabod. She's just disgusted. We get some classic Ichabod social commentary when they go to the bank. We also had the fun bit about the wedding industry.
Oh
Yes.
man, thank you though. That's appreciated.
What?
No, just his commentary on it because it's just so ridiculous.
On the bank.
I mean, if you look, of both of them, because if you kind of look at it from a third person, it is kind of ridiculous.
It is weird.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just like screwing with this pen that's chained. It's like you really expect people to hand over their hard-earned fortunes, but you can't trust them with a single quill or an inkwell.
What was he said that Thomas Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson said that banking establishments were more dangerous than standing armies.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like sitting armies, if you ask me.
Punch hard. $8. It's $8. $8. Do you have butt?
You can almost buy a Jersey Mike's out.
Oh, God damn it. All right, so they go to the safe deposit box and they pull out the head. Meanwhile, Frank is getting this lie detector test where he comes and tells the truth about everything that's going on. And the new sheriff is just like laying into him, like, I have friends over at Tarrytown. I'm going to make sure you get the best possible treatment.
She's being such a B word for no reason, and I mean the bad B word, not the other
Buffy. She's being such a Buffy
for like
No.
I don't know. Does she have history with?
No, she's not. She's just trying to get him to tell what she thinks is the truth. She thinks he's trying to fake an insanity plea.
She thinks that he's trying to get off of a double murder rap.
Yeah. God.
That he's recanting his testimony because he hates prison and that he wants the easy life.
Can't she just believe in Anseetif and the fact that it took over some people and killed 2 people?
It's kind of hard.
See, what's going to be interesting with this is that if she knew Abby's mom, and Abby's mom went crazy, presumably because she kind of had these visions of what was happening, I feel like she knows more than she's letting on, and therefore it's like, I don't think she really is this like outside party. Whereas Frank sincerely was like, "Whoa, this is weird. Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, they're headless
That's what
people."
I'm saying. She's got an agenda.
Like she's got something going on.
Whether it's supernatural or not, there's something she's up to.
I don't think she's long for this world.
Well, I think she could be long for the world in general.
Can you imagine if that's the woman that Moloch possesses to
Bride
get to the
of
real world?
Moloch.
Bride of Moloch.
Yeah.
They're the king and queen of Purgatory Prom.
She's the third horseman.
God.
No,
Yeah.
no.
She's the horseman of Buffy.
No, she's
What?
Dolores Umbridge.
I meant the other B word.
You meant come on, you're better than that. All right, so let's check in with Katrina, our favorite, least favorite character
Oh
on
my
the
God.
show, depending on who you ask. And she's got a magical jewel around her neck that allows her to see and hear everything that the horseman wants her to taste and smell. What?
Including his magical side curls.
His magical side curls.
And see, not just taste and smell.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, don't.
Picturing her eating the curls.
Can I just say
not
something, right? He makes a point that I'm wondering how deeply it embedded itself in her brain, which is like, he made a pretty decent point, which is like, listen,
He got Abby out.
Well, he loves another, obviously. I mean, she was in purgatory for like a second, and he got her out immediately. He left you there for hundreds of years. Think about that. And she actually like takes that and is like, wow, that is a thing.
He was buried in the earth for a lot of that.
Yeah.
I know. But at the same time, do we think on any level that she's actually entertaining his proposal of love?
It definitely was sinking in that moment. Like, she definitely thought, oh.
Yeah.
There was a bit of recognition. It was weird.
Because she has seen it with her own eyes. The hugs, the longing, the almost touches. We love it.
The embracing.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that she's taking those words to be, oh, now headless, I love you. I think it's more like, this really hurts because I do see this. Like,
Yeah.
I think
She's not going to, like, end
it's
the
a
world
dig.
because of it, but
Right.
she's like, well, damn.
But for those of you who are fans of Stockholm Syndrome,
I am a huge fan of Stockholm Syndrome.
I love Beauty and the Beast.
Well, hold on. I want to know where she's going with this.
well, there's one of our fans tweeted me. Her handle is looking for realness, and she is shipping Head Trina. which
Wow,
Headless
she is
and
going
Katrina.
for it.
Yeah.
Because she wants her to fall in love with her captor. Interesting.
Totes, nah.
I do. Well,
That ship sunk before it even set
Can
sail.
I just say, though,
I do find it weird though that she was, even though it was an arranged marriage, supposedly these people were all friends at one point.
Right.
So there's no. It shocks me that there's no way of her talking to him in a way that's remember who you are. It's all like you're evil, blah blah blah. Like that never seems like the best way to go about.
But she
things.
also says, and goodness knows whether or not this is the truth. Chime in that like you didn't give me the time to like adjust it. You were so head over like let's just get married, let's do it. And you didn't allow me to learn to love you. And if you had, maybe I would have.
Sounds like reasonable BS. Like no. Like
No,
she,
that's
intentionally.
That's a good way to put
Not
it.
you, it's me.
Well, essentially, yeah. But like that's what she's doing. She's saying something that he can
She's leading him
understand.
on. What a Buffy.
Jackie.
Stop comparing Buffy with the other B word.
he's
That's
just,
terrible.
It's just a placeholder. Like what a Buffy.
No, we're gonna piss people off.
Somebody not having
Like
a head.
me.
Somebody not having a head. Deal breaker, yay or nay?
It's total deal breaker.
Deal breaker, yeah.
Although for our fans, it's not as much of a deal breaker. Although I will
Because
say,
he's got magic horsemen of deathcock.
oy vey,
Did you just say that?
oy
Just
vey.
get it out of your mouth.
Well, I thought about it before, but I didn't get to say it.
Well, at least she has that necklace that lets her taste and
I was
smell.
gonna say abs. Oh Jesus. Oh my gosh. I mean,
He does look good once he takes his shirt off.
and a lot of people prefer him
Disclaimer,
without
do
his
not
head.
Google that. Do not
'Cause
Google that.
His head is weird looking,
It
but
is
his
weird
body is
looking.
on point.
And
Very
I feel
little
bad
reciprocation.
because as a feminist, I don't feel I don't feel good about reverse objectification. Like I don't think it's fair to be like, oh, this guy's hot. and
But
he-
you feel better about it when he's got no head?
No, I'm just
Okay.
saying.
So it's
that,
like there's Butterface, like she looks good, but her face.
Yeah,
and now
he's
it's
like a Butterface.
He's like but his head. Like he
Yeah.
looks good, but his head's missing.
But there is a part of me that feels bad about that. Just know that as a feminist,
Okay.
I'm not participating in reverse gender discrimination.
Okay. That's fine.
Did you really just?
I did.
I'm going to say, though, as a feminist, Katrina's hair looks very nice today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her hair looks great while she's wearing that
Always looks
corset.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boys will be boys. Okay. So, meanwhile,
3 against 1.
Henry is sitting in
you
his...
can't even do math.
Henry is sitting in his study of dark contemplation, and he gets sucked through a mirror to Moloch, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Father. I'll be better next time.
Let me talk to you like.
Let me talk to you
Why
like
is
this."
Henry German in this scene?
He's always been German. We just don't know it yet.
Zach, would you like to? Grim crossover.
oh
German
yeah, there you
mispronounced
go.
words.
He's a headless horseman.
Oh, it's the Headless Horseman.
The grim version would be a horse with no head, but it's like a man. It's like a centaur with no head.
Cool. So it's just legs.
Der Pferdmann mit kein Kopf.
What?
The horseman with no
I
head.
feel like I'm going to
I thought
leave
it was
here and
with
write
no
a spec
cup.
script for Grimm's version of the Sleepy Hollow myth.
That'd be
You
dope.
could write the great crossover with Grim and Sleepy Hollow.
You know, I love the parish character. What's his real name? I forgot. Henry
Jeremy.
Jeremy, that's right. I love the Henry Parish Jeremy.
Hello, mother.
But honestly, I would rather him just have his eyes down than having his hand like this, because this makes me think he's like watching a scary movie and he doesn't want to see it, but like he wants to see it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of it really took me out of the scene a little bit.
Moloch is like, listen, forget about that failure. I'm gonna figure out how to come to Earth myself.
Well,
Yeah.
that I took as Moloch, like, this is not your part of the plan. I've got 2 other horsemen doing their thing. I'm gonna get to Earth. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how that's all gonna go down.
Just take care of the witnesses.
But he's delegating. He's like, I need you to do this thing. Don't worry about the other stuff. Micromanaging.
All I'm thinking of is Moloch with like a Brooklyn accent right now. Don't worry about it. I'm doing this. I'm gonna be delegating.
See, now I'm thinking of him as Bill Lundberg in Office Space. Like, yeah, if you could take care of the witnesses, that'd be great.
I'm gonna need you to stay in purgatory on Saturday.
He's got a clipboard. See, I had you down here for the witnesses.
Yeah.
My coming to the surface, not.
Yeah, do you have those TPS reports? And by TPS, of course, I mean the Purgatory Services
We're
reports.
putting cover letters on all our Sin Eater reports from now on.
Oh, sorry, the Purgatory Sock Hop.
That's the next dance. By the way,
Corbin comes out in a wheelchair. I created Jump to Conclusions.
oh God.
I love that
can't
movie
even.
so much.
Go ahead, Jacque.
So,
Can we get a pun jar for
if
that
we're
collective conversation?
Fine.
if we're going back
What is that,
to
850?
if we're going back to Moloch delegating and saying that he's going to get himself out, then why are they still planning to get him out anyway?
I feel like that maybe might have been the start of them planting information for Katrina to hear.
What I imagine it as
point.
is that they have to do their thing, like totally separate from him coming to Earth, like, or it has to happen before he can come.
Got it.
Like the witnesses have to be taken care of. If he comes now, they're gonna knock him out.
Yeah. Also, in regards to Henry and his opinion of Katrina, or Jeremy and his opinion of Katrina, I mean, I feel like most adult men, like, or at least this adult man, underestimates his mom. He's like, this is my dumb mom who let me die. Like, she's been trapped in purgatory all these years. My mom's useless. Thank her for giving me all this power.
Stupid mom.
But she's a stupid mom.
This wasn't the power I wanted.
God, I wanted toy train powers.
But it's the one he deserved.
Yeah. I don't want
Speaking
socks
of-
powers.
Speaking of parental issues, oh my gosh, what? Speaking of parental issues, I do like that. So I'm watching this whole thing and I'm like, ugh, why does, even though he's like the horseman of death and he gets like a bed knobs and broomsticks like horseman that he gets to like play around with, I don't understand why he's loyal to Moloch. And then in this episode, it cemented it because he sees him as his dad. And so I'm like, it would make sense to me that
The Horsemen of War. We're talking about Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Sorry, not Horseman of Death, Horseman of War. And so it makes sense to me in that respect that, okay, he's doing this because Abraham's doing it for revenge. So Jeremy's doing this not so much for revenge, but because he didn't have a father figure and he sees Moloch as his father figure.
I actually thought about that a lot because I'm like, oh, these are the four horsemen of apocalypse. Who the hell is this Moloch guy compared to them? Because I'm like, these guys, the big...
He's Mac Daddy.
Yeah, but Moloch is Mac Daddy. But what it really had me thinking is that Henry Parrish is planning to betray Moloch as soon as he gets to the real world for his own means. Because if they're under the control of Moloch at the moment, true freedom would be to get rid of that control.
But he's Daddy. He's Mac Daddy. Well, you don't
but
betray Mac Daddy.
If he enters...
Mac Daddy can pip slap you.
If he enters the real world, he'll become alive.
Right.
So you can kill him.
But he's Mac Daddy. You don't betray Mac Daddy. Mac Daddy can
he's the
pimp
one
slap
putting you like into power. Like he gave him that like crazy metal man thing to
Yeah,
control.
his soul
he's the
armor.
one that gives him the power.
His flaming sword.
So is
of
Moloch
fire.
like the equivalent of Satan in this then?
I feel like he's like Satan's minion.
I feel like Moloch cannot be like the head of the totem.
I think
No, he's not.
Yeah, I he's not Satan. I don't think so. Anyway,
He's not Satan.
That's all I'm
No.
Satan. That's all I'm Satan.
But he.
$9 puncher.
Well, I didn't even hear it.
Oh, he said that's all I'm Satan.
I wish I didn't.
Here, we're running low on time, and there's a lot of stuff we still haven't touched
Yeah,
on.
all
We
right.
got time.
No, we're not. It's almost midnight, dude. So they go down into the catacombs to find the Kindred, and we get to have another great history moment with this
Inventor of the battery.
inventor of the battery, the closed circuit. But we also get a call back. These bats which are a callback directly to the bats in Purgatory in episode 1, and they use it as an opportunity to talk about the fact that, you know, Purgatory it almost broke Abby, and it's like a great scene for Nicole Beharie. But I'm wondering, what else is the significance with these bats?
And it shows how much they care about each other.
Well, the special effects guy really liked that effect and wanted to use it again.
I don't know. I'm like,
No, there's something about it. Like, do bats haunt where demons lay? Like, it's a demon monster.
yeah. I don't know.
I didn't mean it that way, Stephen.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I just thought the way you phrased that was hilarious.
Demon sex.
Yeah.
No, that's not how I was even thinking. I just thought it was funny. How like real we're getting with this.
Where do the demons lay?
But if bats, like bats have a very demonic sense of to them, like just because of Dracula and all that. But so I wonder if they are guardians or something. I'm just thinking.
I think the bats themselves were not exactly supposed to be as similar as they were in Purgatory. I think it was just the fact of her being so upset by the bats, what we were supposed to take away from it, not as if they were the exact same thing.
Okay. So
do you notice where this like whole grave situation is though? It looks like where Zombie Andy used to sleep.
But they said it's a new part of the catacombs they've never been in before.
Well, looks like the Zombie Andy part of the catacombs.
Look, well,
It's all the same. It's all
when plans are similar, there's bound to be catacombs that are similar. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a new catacombs and it's a new plan. And it's a new season of Sleepy Hollow.
Yes. So, yeah, they raise the Kindred. There's a great fight between the Kindred and the Horsemen of Death.
Well, he has to say it twice. He has to, like, say the encryption twice.
He tries a bunch of times.
I did like that moment because I do find it false if you're watching a show, and it's so funny to say on like a supernatural show, I find this false, but when everything works out perfectly, exactly on time. So I love it, that pause, and it's like, well, you did something wrong, you know?
Maybe I mispronounced some of the words.
Well,
I got to do it again.
I love the old tropes because, like, I don't know what you... Matt and Zach said something to me before I'd watched the first episode where you're like, you're going to feel like you've seen it before. And, like, I love the old tropes.
Is that what we said?
No, we were saying, like, you're going to think you missed something because that opening.
Because that opening.
I kind of figured what it was pretty quickly, but I loved the tropes. I thought you were talking about how, like, cliche a lot of the things in it were, but, like, they were in a good way cliche where we're like, oh, this is great. I like it. Like, the double...
familiar, not cliche. Is that what you mean?
That's what I mean. Yeah, like the double Ichabods and things like that. Oh, which one's the real one kind of thing. But in this episode, I really... It kind of threw me back to Army of Darkness. It's like, Klaatu, Virata... like, he messes up the encryption. I love that old kind of trope.
Yeah. They wind up leaving Katrina there. We just have ground cover. They wind up leaving Katrina there.
After the worst kiss ever, which most of it was held behind a flame, because that's how bad the kiss was. Just pointing it out.
I don't think that's why they did
and
that.
And Ichabod
It was behind the flame because it was hot.
What is it, Ichatrina?
Yeah.
Ichatrina?
Or Catabod.
Catabod.
They're a shipping name. They're married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't need. They are the one true pairing because they were the one true pairing under the light of God
cranes.
in a church.
So we can just say the cranes.
The cranes. Yeah, the cranes. The cranes. The cranes. Yeah. So they leave her there, and Abby has a moment of like, what?
I love that too because she's like, we just did all this
we
for
just did
what?
all this to save you. What? You're not gonna?
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me just say this real quick though, because Abby did the same gosh darn thing when Ichabod visits her in Purgatory. No, don't save me. This is way too much bigger right now. Leave me here. Okay, so come on, guys.
Oh, you mean Katrina did the same thing?
No, Abby.
Oh.
In the very first episode of this season, he's like, I'm going to use the key to get you out. No, don't do that because it's too much at stake. And now it's like, I'm going to save you, Katrina. No.
But she wasn't.
Don't do that because there's too much at stake.
But Abby wasn't privy to that conversation. So as far as Abby knows, it's like they looked like they had some great reunion and then she was just staying there. So it makes sense for her to have a reaction like, I don't get it.
WTF, man.
Yeah.
We just did a lot of work to bust her out.
Yeah.
We just made a Frankenstein.
Yeah. So,
I love that word.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
great. It's fun. So Frank winds up in Tarrytown. He's about to get awful stuff happening to him when Henry comes in with this demon pen that he's cursed and he put a needle in, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm his lawyer. Injunction served. You can't do anything bad to him while I'm around. Here, why don't you sign this contract you're not going to read in blood?
I just am so disappointed in Frank.
He's now
it's
a
like,
soldier of Moloch, right?
you should know to read everything that people hand you.
But it's a lawyer that his wife hired.
It's invisible demon ink.
But like, there has to be like you even if you're not gonna like read everything, you skim it to like get the gist, and so you pick up on things like immortal soul, damned to hell for all eternity.
Right.
Little clauses like that might be in there.
Have to work with what's the actor's name who was Harold and Harold and Kumar?
John Cho.
John Cho.
Okay, I didn't want to
He's
get it
like
wrong.
No,
he's like the new John Cho now. He's like the new zombie Andy.
Yeah, John Cho's too busy giving Karen Gillan a makeover.
Yeah, on ABC. Okay, now Zach, before the show, you said there was something small that you totally are giving way too much importance to.
It's for those of you that don't know, because I didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. I grew up in Westchester. I grew up 2 towns over from the real village of Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, so Dobbs Ferry got you really excited.
So when they're like, I know where they are. They're in Willow Point, which you might know as Dobbs Ferry, which is my hometown. And I'm just like running around jumping. I'm so excited.
I just imagine
so it's
you
not
like,
actually a theory or anything.
No,
You're just happy.
it's just to me enjoying it. But like,
Okay.
there's all those little things on this show. That cabin, I know Dobbs Ferry very well. It's in like the middle of the woods or whatever. This is the cool part though. There's like really no place that could be in the actual Dobbs Ferry. There's some woods, but the only place I could think of that could possibly actually sit is on the Washington Irving estate.
Oh.
Because between Dobbs Ferry and Sleepy Hollow is one of the towns is Irvington, which they have yet to ever mention on this show.
Frank hasn't gotten it yet.
Well, my whole thought was, is Washington Irving ever going to be a character? Like, I know they named Frank Irving after him, but it would be very interesting to make Washington Irving a character somehow involved in the show.
It would be
the man who wrote the story.
You know what? So somebody brought it up last season. Does the story of Sleepy Hollow, like the actual written story, not exist in this world?
They haven't mentioned it at all.
Yeah, and I feel like they would have been like, man, this seems familiar to that story, that Washington Irving story.
Maybe
and
like
a lot of the names are the same. Did you know your name's the same as this guy in this book?
Maybe like we're gonna end the series on like the legacy book that they're talking about. It's been foretold, and they're gonna close the book that has like the witnesses and Moloch and all that, and it's gonna say the legend of Sleepy Hollow.
We get like
Allow me
do we get like a Jumanji? We get a Jumanji style like. I mean, his name is Parrish. Like a Jumanji style, just like bring it all back, and none of it happened except that our characters remember.
When they start
and it's written
pulling
in the
giant
story.
mosquitoes as like the baddies for an episode, I'm out.
Yeah, maybe that might not be the greatest thing. Okay, time for predictions.
And if they ever bring Robin Williams in, it'll be too soon.
Your AFTERBUZZ TV.
Predictions.
All right.
Hey, Moloch's gonna go ahead and take your soul. I'm gonna get him out.
It's too soon.
Too soon.
Oh.
All right, so what do we think is
I love
happening
Robin
next
Williams, though.
week, people? There was a promo.
I missed the preview.
I didn't see the preview either because I watched on Hulu.
Me too.
Jackie, you saw it.
I did, but I still like.
They didn't get much.
They didn't give much, and I really want to see what happens to Frankenstein.
Yeah, he's gone. He's somewhere.
I want to know, like, because he seems to be good, but it's like I want to know if he is actually good. Yeah. Like, is he really like a sentient being, or is he just like a puppet that you can walk around with?
He's pretty sentient because he was, or at least at the point where he's actively protecting the witnesses because he notices he's about to kill headless.
Yeah,
he's got
stab him.
over a barrel. He's gonna stab him, and then he sees that Abby's gonna die, and he immediately turns around and goes to protect her.
Yeah.
And how badass was Abby in that scene?
It was a great sequence when she's filling him through full of buckshot, or she's trying, but it's his soul armor, so it's impossible.
Cool ass armor.
Yeah.
He's got plus 20 dragon armor, man.
He's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, I'm Groot. Like, he kind of reminds me of that character, like the character that can't say anything really, but like that is gonna be there to help out time to time.
Got it.
I guess the question is, what spirit is controlling him?
It's George Washington.
Okay. All right. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us here on the Sleepy Hollow After Show here on AfterBuzz TV this week. Tune in next week for an all-new episode. Zach Wilson, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ZachWilson. Also here at AfterBuzz. Lots of fun shows. Doctor Who Classics. Grace Point starting up this week. Grimm starting up soon. Lots of stuff. Tune in.
Okay, Jacque Borowski.
At 123 Jackie_B on Twitter. At 123 Jackie B, all one word, on Instagram. And the Strain finale this coming Sunday.
All right,
Sean,
Stephen Lemieux.
Sean, if the soundboard's not working, quit it and then reopen it.
Stephen Lemieux.
Hey, you guys can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux, StPHENLEMIEUX, and doing the Strain finale after show this Sunday, as well as Sons of Anarchy on Tuesday. And also, wouldn't it be crazy if it was actually Benjamin Franklin?
Whoa.
The Kindred?
Yeah, because that would kind of add a whole new dynamic.
And there was no one that he trusted as much as himself.
That is true.
Yeah, it's possible.
But then now I'm just picturing him trying to sleep with women.
Yeah, exactly.
In that form.
Silent up to ladies and be like,
He'd like give him a necklace first so they could like hear what he's actually trying to say.
there we go. Enchanted jewelry. Folks, you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman, MattLieberman. You can find all my videos for SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd on YouTube. And you can visit my own personal YouTube channel, youtube.com/Matthew D. Lieberman, where I'm doing a 60-day vlog every day weight loss challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. You should check it out and maybe participate. We're having a great time. Thank you all so much. See you next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Good night, sleepyheads.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.